Hello everyone, different part of Fearing Churchyard now, talking about tomorrow's Gospel reading, which is from Luke's Gospel, chapter 13. A simple story in many ways. Jesus is teaching in the synagogue on the Sabbath, the holy day on which you're not meant to do any work, and there's a woman there who is described as she's had a spirit that's crippled her for 18 years, and she's completely bent over like that. She can't stand up straight. And Jesus calls her into the centre of the synagogue, and he lays his hands on her and he says to her, "Woman, you are set free from your ailment." And as soon as he does that, she can stand up straight for the first time in 18 years. And because she's in the synagogue, as much as anything I suppose, she praises God. This outrages some of the synagogue leaders who say, "You're not meant to do any work on the Sabbath. 6 days we work, and on the Sabbath, the seventh day, we don't do any work, because it says so in the Ten Commandments," etc. And of course Jesus has a real go at them and says, if your ox or your donkey needs to drink on the Sabbath, you untie it and take it to the water, don't you? So, just as you would look after an animal, wouldn't you care for a human being who's been afflicted in this way? Well, what this story is about, there's two themes. One is, what is the proper use of the Sabbath? We do need times of rest. We do need times of recuperation and recreation, because God has designed us in that way. And the Sabbath was actually meant to free people from the bondage of work on every day. That was the purpose of the Sabbath. It wasn't just to bring in another set of restrictions for people. It was actually meant to liberate people. And the other theme, very common in Luke, is of people being freed, particularly women, being freed from oppression. And you think of this woman bent over, she's on the margins of her society, and Jesus calls her a daughter of Abraham. She is a child of Abraham. In doing this, he not only restores her health, he restores her to the community fully. He recognizes her as a human being loved by God. He takes her from the margins of the synagogue, brings her into the center of the synagogue where only the men are meant to be, really. He touches her, which breaks one of the commandments in a way, and he speaks to her, because males were not meant to speak to women they did not know, let alone touch them. Jesus disregards all that because her healing is paramount. So this is a story about release from bondage, from oppression. And if only the church, and it is now beginning to wake up, had heard this message, that one of its tasks was to release people, particularly the marginalised, particularly women in that culture, from oppression. She stands for all those women who are bent over by what oppresses them, and Jesus with his love comes to release them.